Okay, so remember all that stuff we talked about with RhythmSpeak move point categories?
Yeah.
Well, now get ready for this because it gets like even cooler.
Okay.
Each move can have all these little variations called nuances, and they seriously add so much depth and richness, to the language. It's kind of like
It's like adding subtle flavors to a dish.
yeah, exactly. Like imagine
It just becomes more interesting and nuanced, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these nuances aren't just random, are they?
No, not at all. They're actually grouped into these things called nuanced sets. Each set has a bunch of variations, but they're all based on the same core concept.
So you're saying like one move can have a bunch of different like flavors.
Exactly.
That's wild.
It is. And the system, it's so brilliant because it just gives you so much flexibility and depth in how you communicate with movement.
Okay, so how do you even keep track of all these sets and variations? It sounds kind of complicated.
It's actually pretty simple. Each set gets a number, and then the variations within that set also get numbered.
So like what would Nuance Set 3.1 mean?
That would be the first variation within set 3.
Gotcha. So it's like a family tree of movements.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, how do these nuance sets come about in the first place? Like who decides what goes into them?
There are a couple of ways it happens. Sometimes a whole new set of movements gets created from scratch. It's, really innovative and exciting. It shows how RhythmSpeak is always growing and evolving.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And then sometimes, they'll take an existing move and develop a whole nuance set around it.
So they're kind of like riffing on something that's already there.
Exactly. And that's, that shows just how adaptable RhythmSpeak can be.
Okay, I'm really starting to see how this all comes together. It's like you've got the basic moves, and then you can layer on all these subtle variations to create something totally new and unique.
Precisely.
Now, can you give me an actual example of a nuance set and how it works? Like, something concrete.
Sure. Let's look at Nuance Set 3, which deals with shooing or pushing away.
Ooh, that's a good one. I can see how that could be useful in so many different situations, like,
Yeah.
tell me more.
So the first variation, Nuance Set 3.1, is called Shoo Away. It's like imagine you're standing still and you use this slow, fluttering motion with your hands to move your arms upwards. Kind of like you're gently shooing something away.
Okay, I can picture that. Like you're not being aggressive, just sort of nudging something away.
Yeah. It's a very subtle way of saying no or go away,
That's pretty clever.
without being harsh or confrontational.
I like it. Now, what about some of the other variations in this set? Like, how do they differ from Shoo Away?
Okay, so Nuance Set 3.3 is called Push Away Denial. This one is more deliberate, like you're actually pushing something away with your hands, and your head moves in the opposite direction.
Ooh, that sounds more assertive.
It is. It's like you're really rejecting something.
So it's like Shoo Away is a gentle no, and Push Away Denial is a firm absolutely not. That's amazing. Okay, what about the third variation?
The third one is called Rather Not Refuse.
Okay.
And that's Nuance Set 3.2. So for this one, you're kind of looking away while your left arm's raised with your hand just stationary. And then your right arm pushes forward with the hand doing like a repetitive, gentle motion. And then after a few of those, your left arm slowly comes down.
That's interesting. It's like you're not into it, but you're not being rude about it either.
It's very polite, but it's still a clear no.
So even though all three variations are about pushing away, they each have their own unique flavor, right?
Precisely.
That's incredible. And that's just one set. I can't wait to hear about more of these nuance sets and how they work.
Let's do it. We can talk about how they really elevate the expressive power of RhythmSpeak.
So we've seen, how these nuance sets work, like with that Shooing Away example, but like, how do they actually make RhythmSpeak like more expressive overall?
Well, think about it this way. Imagine you're talking to someone and you kind of agree with them, but you're also a little skeptical.
Yeah, I get that.
Like a simple nod wouldn't really cut it, would it?
Right, because like a nod could mean anything, like I'm listening, or I totally agree. There's just not enough like nuance there.
Exactly. But with nuance sets, you can actually fine-tune your movements to express that exact feeling, like agreement with a touch of doubt.
So you could like nod, but also like tilt your head a little or raise an eyebrow.
Exactly.
I see. It's like adding a little asterisk to your nod, like, I agreed, BUT.
Precisely. These little variations, they let you communicate on a much deeper level. Adding those layers of meaning that you just wouldn't get with the basic moves.
That's so cool. So nuance sets aren't just about like having more options. They're about being really precise with what you're trying to say.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond just individual moves. Nuance sets actually make your whole communication style more fluid and impactful.
Really? How so?
Well, think of it like music. A good musician, they don't just play the notes. They add dynamics, phrasing, they play with the tempo to create something that's really captivating and moves you emotionally.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's those little nuances that make the music come alive.
Exactly. And the same goes for RhythmSpeak. When you use these nuance sets, it's like your communication has more rhythm and flow, making it more impactful and memorable.
So it's not just about the individual moves, it's about how you put them all together, right? Using those subtle variations to create a whole story.
That's a great way to put it. It's really that attention to detail, that ability to refine your movements that makes RhythmSpeak an art form.
This is also fascinating. I'm really starting to see how RhythmSpeak goes way beyond just like basic communication. It's something much deeper, more artistic and expressive.
It definitely is. And that potential for artistic expression, that's what makes RhythmSpeak so compelling.
It's really eye-opening. I'm starting to understand why RhythmSpeak is so much more than just a language. It's a tool for storytelling, for artistic exploration, for connecting with others on a much deeper level.
And we're just scratching the surface. There's so much more to discover about how nuance sets can enrich our communication and really unlock the potential of RhythmSpeak.
You've definitely got me hooked. I can't wait to delve deeper into this world of nuance sets and see all the ways they can enrich our lives.